How's it, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope everyone's doing well and having a great day. Basically, what I'm looking at today is, are we going to continue going higher for the altcoins, or is this another potential fake move where we take out the previous high of March and then we just get reversed, right, in terms of total three? So I want to quickly speak about what I'm actually looking at today. To be honest with you, this breakout still looks pretty clean in my opinion. I still think that there's a possibility of us getting back up to this zone over here, which is that 0.5 fib zone from this previous high to the low. It's also a liquidity sweep of this previous level. There's also resistance / support over here. We might even tap little like higher levels. If you look to the left-hand side as well, this is quite a strong reaction zone where price does tend to actually bounce from. You can even bring it back to literally May of last year. A very, very strong zone here, guys. 781. So there's a good chance that we might see a pump to that zone still. This is the daily time frame. Remember, each candle represents one full day. So this is more of a higher time frame outlook. This might take a bit longer than expected, but the breakout is still intact here for the altcoins. So I'm still expecting a potential upside. I do want to speak about Audi in just a bit because there's a potential setup that I'm looking at, but looking at on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that it's still looking pretty decent here. We broke structure to the upside, retraced back down to this level over here. There is potential for the altcoins still to continue going higher today, right? So there's a high chance of that happening, right? So I just want to quickly speak about Audi because we got that breakout yesterday. We were speaking about it in the Telegram group, and we did actually break structure to the upside. So there is potential for Audi to get a push higher from the zone over here. So I'm looking for a potential long. But the thing is, for me to go long today for Audi, I want to see a potential structure break. Like in terms of, right now we did actually break this previous low over here. This could be price to come lower. But in terms of like looking for a trade, I do want to actually wait for price to take out this level over here on the 5-minute and then look for continuation to the upside. Another trade I'm looking at right now is actually Cardano. Beautiful retest of the previous high over here. Looks pretty good in my opinion. I want to actually, I'm probably going to post the signal here. We got a breakout 4-hour time frame, looking pretty decent here for Cardano. Yeah, looking at a push back up to like this zone over here. So I'm going to post the setup in just a bit, just to let you guys know what I'm doing. But I'm basically going to take this long here for Cardano here on the 4-hour time frame. Stop loss just below this low over here. Looking for a nice risk to reward. Your TPs would be as follows. So going to take this trade here for Cardano. I'm going to put it in the chat. One sec, give me a sec. Should right, so basically just looking for continuation to the upside here for Cardano. 4-hour time frame long retest, looking pretty decent here. 1-hour time frame looking really, really good. So yeah, I'm looking at a long here. I'll post it in the chat. Okay. Just want to post it so you guys can have it. One sec. We'll go over why it's a nice little setup. Nice little breakout here. These types of setups are pretty clean in my opinion. So our TP1 is going to be 27. Yeah, I mean, it's all on the charts. I'm going to post it in now. All right, so that's the trade for the day. In terms of looking for setups, we're going to jump through why we actually think this is a good trade. So I'm just posting this for the community so you guys can have it. It's a beautiful trade, I think, in my opinion. Breakout trade like this, they tend to get a lot more volume. And in terms of setups, we're going to look at something else in just a bit. I'm just posting the long for you guys. Yeah. All right. Okay, so that's Cardano looking for longs, basically looking just to take out the range high. In my opinion, this looks pretty clean. So we'll see what happens for that. I want to speak about Bitcoin quickly. So Bitcoin, have a look at BTC. We actually did get a confirmed, close above this bearish gap, which is pretty surprising, in my opinion, which is why there is potential for higher prices today, guys, just based on the daily time frame. Closing above this gap over here is super, super important. And there's a good chance that we might reclaim these levels. If you take a fib from this high to the low over here, we do have this level at around about 84 for Bitcoin. Right over here. This is a key zone here for Bitcoin. There's a good chance that we see price go higher from this zone. The reason why I think that is because closing above this gap, it's super important. We've tried to tap this zone multiple times in April. We know we broke the zone in Feb. This is like this whole year, price has been below this level. So getting a breakout above this zone is saying, okay, there might be confirmation that we can go higher from the zone, right? But for me right now, taking a long off the zone is something that I'm looking at, and I want to speak about on the lower time frames. Like I said, just play each token, differently. The reason why I say that is because some tokens like Casper, for instance, this morning was looking for shorts, and then it's other tokens looking for long. So it's kind of, you have to play that game where you can't really look at Bitcoin and be like, okay, I'm bullish for the day, right? You have to look at other tokens and just trade. That's why I took a long for Cardano, right? Because the 4-hour time frame, and obviously London session's opening up soon, so the volume could start increasing, but holding this range high is very bullish in terms of a trade, in terms of the setup. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Bitcoin, I'm expecting upside. I do expect Bitcoin to reach around about 84K today, just based on the daily time frame. I mean, this is to me a clear trade. You could even just look for something like this where you take a long and then you put your stop loss just below this low over here, a 1% stop, a TP of that. I'm actually, I'm actually personally going to take this trade here on a bit of a low leverage. It's a 4% move here, so for Bitcoin, I mean, I would. It's up to you to take the setup, but basically, it's a bit of a breakout on the daily time frame. Stop loss just below the previous low, because you can see how we've literally took out yesterday's low. Right, super important. Right, taking out previous liquidity levels is something that I look at when taking positions. Right, because think about it. If you're looking for a long position, what do you want to see first happen? Do you want to see let's just say you're looking for long and you want to take a trade, but you don't really have liquidity sweep or anything like that. You don't really want to see the candle open up with a pump, right? You actually want to see the candle open up with a dump, take out key levels, right? We know that this is yesterday's low. Okay, so if you look at the lower time frame, you can see how price taps yesterday's low beautifully, and then we get an SFP off that level, and we get a push higher. So, Bitcoin longs here look pretty clean. We also get a 50-minute breakout over here. Everything kind of pointing for Bitcoin to go higher today, back up to that 80, that 84K zone. Personally, looks pretty good in my opinion. Looking for longs is definitely the name of the game right now. So yeah, I mean, this could be a 4-hour trade, put stops just below the low. We've really taken out that low, so I wouldn't expect price to come back down further to reclaim that level. Holding the structure over here on the daily time frame looks pretty clean. But yeah, personally, I did actually take that Bitcoin, but I'm more in this Cardano long. Daily time frame getting a breakout back above the zone, super important here. If you look at the daily as well for Cardano, let's have a look here. there's a potential breakout from that level as well. So honestly, looking pretty good. I'm expecting upsides there, looking at a high of like 84K. Then if we look at so they got Casper, for instance. Yeah, it was only really if we broke below that level. So like, trading is more about like creating ideas and like, and if something were to happen, then it would have to like break your levels or close above certain things in order for you to get a setup. So, this is just an idea that I was saying, like, if this were to happen, then looking for that X and Y, right? So another setup is also XRP. We did get this push down here. We broke structure to the upside. This could just be a retest of this previous level here. So I'm looking at a potential long as well for XRP for potential move to the upside. So I'll let you know if I take this trade, but I don't want to be too, like in terms of bullish. And like, so if I take a setup in a day, I don't really like taking multiple setups just because of the fact that like you could be wrong, right? So like if I'm wrong, I don't want to be wrong twice. I'd rather be wrong once and then that's that. So yeah, that's kind of the game plan today. Still looking at XRP longs. Yeah, this retest looks pretty clean. The reason why I'm looking at a long is basically we were in this range, got a fake out to downside, compressing, get a breakout, boom, break structure to the upside, break these highs. This is just a retrace for potential continuation, right? So definitely looking at a long here. I'll be honest. So we'll see what happens today, guys. But I hope everyone has a great day. We are on this long for 88. Nice little 1 hour closure. Let's see what happens. I do think that Bitcoin, you could look for a swing long right now, in my opinion, on the daily time frame, getting a close above this gap, taking out yesterday's low. Everything's kind of pointing to move back up to 84K. This is definitely a reversal zone where you can look at potential sells from that zone. So yeah, there's a couple of things to look at today, but I hope everyone has a great day. And yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking today. I think that we get a push higher. That's why I'm looking at longs more so. Total threes breakout still looks pretty clean. So everything's kind of pointing to the upside. We also have USDT dominance to look at, breaking below this level here, creating a massive top wick on the daily time frame already. It's looking like the market still has a bit of a pump in it, right? So you kind of want to capitalize on that. USDT dominance also getting rejected from the zone is pretty crucial for me in particular. The reason why is because every time price taps this level, there's a good chance that we get a reaction from that zone. So honestly, I'm only really looking for upside trades today. Could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. This is pretty bullish with USDT dominance getting rejected from that level. So we'll see what happens, but I hope everyone has a great one. Bye.